we're going to give our reactions, our comments, and, of course, maybe some quick picks as to who we think's going to win the game. Of course, we don't know the point spreads or anything, so all this stuff is subject to change, but we'll give our opinions. Normally there's some time in between as these things go, and we'll talk about some of the matchups as they go out. But I'm excited. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be back. I had a bit of a layoff, but you know what? It does the body good, and I can't think of a better time to come back. I'm excited. I'm ready for March Madness, man. You and I were talking before we came on the air how this game's just a microcosm, I think, of what we're going to see over the next few weeks. It's just a bunch of exciting basketball, and I'm ready for it.
Well, Chris will be back on the drive-thru on Wednesdays for the time being, and then we'll expand as we go. A little bit lighter schedule for us going forward, so it should give Chris a good chance to kind of get his feet on the ground, get recharged, and get back into the swing of things. So, excited to have Chris back. Feels like old times, kind of like, it's cool. Sometimes it's like, you never know what to expect, but with Chris and I, we've been doing this for years, so it's super easy. I'm ready for March Madness. The beauty of this is that, we've covered it from the West Virginia Gonzaga game to the Jackson State, Prairie View A&M. We've covered it all, so we know all of these teams. We're like ridiculously familiar with them to the point of sickness. So it's there's not going to be any surprises for us. I know a lot of teams will be like, "Who's this? Who are these guys?" It's like we're not going to see that from us. So we're going to know all about it. But thanks everyone who's tuning in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up, of course, and ready for some March Madness. I just got totally roasted on that Illinois game, trying to hold a smile. Chris had Ohio State. I had Illinois. I know a lot of people, it came down, it was one of those things where it came down to the garbage shot at the end, which was meaningless in the game standpoint for the fans, but it was meaningful for all of us. But sometimes you get those, sometimes you don't, and I didn't. Chris got that one, so we move on. But waiting for the selection show. I'm going to guess that the number 1 is going to be Gonzaga. Number 2 overall, I believe, could be Illinois now. And 3 could be Baylor. I think interchangeable. That 4th slot, I don't know. I mean, they're saying Michigan, but I'm not convinced. I think there are a few other teams that can make some arguments here.
I know they were talking about that they were kind of shooting it down. I would go with Alabama. I think Alabama's earned a number 1 spot.
I think if they would have, they did win today. I think of it the other way, like they didn't cover. So, but they did win. So I think Alabama deserves a 1. You're right. The SEC champion, regular season champion, SEC tournament champion. I would have no problem with them being there over Michigan.
Yeah.
Illinois, Baylor, Michigan, Alabama, Gonzaga, Illinois or Baylor 2, and then the other one 3, and then Alabama 4 is the way that I would put it.
I still think you got to go with Illinois number 2 after that.
Who do you have?
I would have Illinois at number 2.
Well, I don't have the sound up on the set, but here it is. Gonzaga is the number 1 overall seed. I don't think there's any surprise there. They're undefeated. No. At a conference, they played a tough schedule, but it's been a while since they've played anybody. So, it's a little bit, I wouldn't say that they're a lock for the Final Four or for the final or anything like that. I think everyone is susceptible. We've seen it. This is March, but I'm excited. Here we go. Saturday. It will be, so the tournament's Friday, Saturday. The winner, Gonzaga versus the winner of Norfolk State, App State. So App State can play some defense, but I think that they could hang with the Zags more than people think. I don't think Norfolk State would have a shot. So one of the play-ins is going to be App State, Norfolk State. Should be a good one. Spartans up against Mountaineers in that one. That game will, the tournament's a little different this year. Normally it's Thursday, Friday, then Saturday and Sunday. This year it is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So number 4 is going to be Oklahoma. So it's App State, Norfolk. And then against Missouri. So the 8-9 is Oklahoma, Missouri. That should be pretty good. This is, what region is this? They're calling this the West region, but of course they're all in Indianapolis, in Indiana. The 5 seed in the West is Creighton. And we saw them lose to Georgetown last time out. That had to have hurt them and knocked them down as Big East champions. They would have. And then UC Santa Barbara, the Gauchos, are the 12. So that 12-5 is UCSB. We know about 12-5 matchups. The 12 wins 75% of the time outright. So, or something like that. It's UC Santa Barbara against Creighton, also on Saturday. And then another Saturday, the 4 in this region is Virginia. Oh, this is a brutal region. They did not give Gonzaga a break. They did not give Gonzaga the Duke treatment, that's for sure. So you have Gonzaga, Oklahoma, Missouri, Creighton, Virginia, and Ohio, who look like they could beat anybody on the other side of that. So that is the upper half of the West bracket. Now we go to the bottom half of the West bracket. Number 6 is USC, okay, who made it to I believe they were the Pac-12 regular season champions, up against the winner of, so the play-in game is Wichita State up against Drake. Ooh. Wichita State, of course, lost to Cincinnati, but gets in as an at-large up against Drake, who was also a bubble team and is now in. So that's bad news for somebody. Kansas is the 3 in this region. This is off the chain. The West is ridiculous. Up against a good Eastern Washington team that we've watched so cashed on 16-7 all season long. The 7 in the West is now Oregon. Okay, this is against, and they play VCU, who just lost today in the A10 final to St. Bonnie's. But going into that game, they were 9-1 in their last 10 games. And then the 2 in this region is Iowa, who, I mean, they're susceptible to any of these other teams that in this. Iowa's 2, Kansas is the 3, Oregon's a 7, and USC's a 6, all in the same thing. So round 2, we'll talk about in just a minute. They play against the Antelopes, Iowa does, of Grand Canyon, who get in as the 15th seed, and they're excited. I mean, I give them a puncher's chance in that game. I think of these teams that we just mentioned, of this West Coast bracket, Chris, who do you think is in trouble here? You know, who do you think really got the bad draw outside of Gonzaga? Who got just a horrible bracket?
I mean, looking at this, 2 teams that I think actually could be in trouble that maybe aren't your first teams you'd think of. I think Kansas is in trouble against Eastern Washington. I think Eastern Washington, that could be a game where the first to 80 wins, and I wouldn't be surprised if Eastern Washington wins that game by at least 5 or 6. And I could see Grand Canyon giving Iowa a run. This is a Grand Canyon team. You know, we talk about they were a cover machine in the regular season, and it's not like they're not battle tested. They beat Nevada. They played Arizona State, Colorado, San Francisco, and like you said, Iowa's susceptible. So those are 2 teams that I have my eye on, at least for a potential big upset in that region.
If it's not Gonzaga, who is it? Who is it? If it's not Gonzaga, who is it? The Final 4 to emerge here.
Honestly, I think Oregon.
Yeah, I like Oregon also. I was going to say the same thing. I also think USC could get it done. They have to hit their free throws. If USC hits their free throws, you know, I think I think they have a chance here. I mean, these are all good teams. There is not a slouch in this section. You know, the play-in team, App State, played really well to get to that spot. You know, they played extremely well down the stretch. I picked them, you know, in all those games. They won as a dog. And then, you know, we got UCSB and Creighton. You know, Creighton is a team that could also go here. Creighton, if they won and it played to form, Creighton would play, if they beat UCSB, they would play the winner of Virginia, Ohio. That's no picnic either, you know? Yeah. It's like, so even if they say they catch Virginia, it plays exactly to form. So we have Creighton, Virginia, then Gonzaga, Missouri. So I mean, those, and we're not talking about, you know, we're not talking about the Elite Eight or anything. We're talking about This is the round of 32. This is Sunday, Monday. And then the bottom half of the bracket, Wichita State Drake, the winner of that against USC, Kansas Eastern Washington. So we have potential Kansas USC second round matchup. And then Oregon VCU, which is a coin flip. I could see VCU making a run if they can keep it together, but I kind of like Oregon there. And then Iowa Grand Canyon, it's like they kind of put Iowa in a winnable spot there, but I could see them losing to VCU or Oregon, potentially. And say they go, and then they go again, and you get a Kansas-Iowa matchup or a Kansas or USC-Iowa matchup in the Sweet 16. These are, I don't know. There's not a slot. This is a very, very tough bracket. This is a super tough bracket. All right, they're back on. Let's see what else they have in store for us. I'm going to guess this is going to be that's going to be the murderer's row of brackets.
My bold prediction for that bracket, round of 32 matchup, Drake against Eastern Washington.
That would be something.
You heard it here first.
So we go to our next, and it is the Baylor Bears get the number 1 seed. No surprise there. So Baylor is number 1 in the they didn't say what region it is. I can't hear it. I can only see it. Baylor is number 1 in the South. These are the Friday games. So these are the ones that we care about. Weekday daytime sports. So it's Baylor Hartford in the first round. Any chance there for Hartford? The Hawks? I'd say no.
Keep it within 30.
It's a 0. And then the number 8 seed here, compared to the 8 seed in the other, is North Carolina against number 9 Wisconsin. So one of my 2 picks to win the tournament is Wisconsin. So they would have to knock off Baylor early to get there. The bottom half of the bracket now is Villanova, who is now a 5 seed. And they were listed like anywhere between 1 and 4 before. But with the injuries, now they are in as a 5, which is a death 1, right? Now they're missing their 2 guys. And they draw Winthrop, so they're going to lose. I'm going to take Winthrop over Villanova outright in that one. Right out of the gate here.
Yeah, you read my mind.
I like Winthrop in that game. I think they take them. It's a 12-5. It's just the perfect scenario. And Purdue North Texas. Now here's another one. That this whole bracket could be a mess. Purdue North Texas as well. So
first to 60 wins that game.
Nova against Winthrop. So on the bottom half of the bracket, this bracket is much easier. Texas Tech versus Utah State. I think that's going to be a war.
Yeah.
I don't know if Gumbel's doing this or Jim Nance.
No, I think it's Gumbel.
It's Gumbel?
Yeah.
So Arkansas is the 3 seed here. I'll have to say that this bracket is much easier than the Gonzaga bracket. Colgate against Arkansas. So that's going to be a high-scoring game. More than likely. I don't think Colgate can match up with the Hogs. I think the Hogs can just run right past them. I don't see that game being as close as a lot of people will have it. So the 7 seed in this side. So on the other side, the 7 seed was Oregon. In this side, it's Florida. I don't know. Not all 7 seeds. And the 10 seed, where it was VCU on the other side, is Virginia Tech at 15-6 on the season in the ACC. And then the 2 seed is going to be Ohio State, who we just saw lose to Illinois. They're all happy with themselves after hitting that garbage 3. They're all cashing their tickets. And the 15 will be in the South. It's got to be playing, right? Nope, it's Oral Roberts. So they draw a real tough customer here, right? Ohio State. They drew a real tough one there. So a lot of bubble teams they're still showing, and a lot of teams that we know are in. Loyola Chicago we know is in, right? So
Yeah.
and we know that Uconn is in. We know there's a lot of teams that we know are in. So this bracket, okay, Baylor, Hartford. I don't see this bracket nearly as tough as that West bracket, right? The South.
No.
I just don't see it.
Not.
How about you?
Not even close.
What do you think as the who are the teams to watch here? Is it Winthrop? Do you think they have? Do you think they can get through to the Sweet 16? They would have to knock off the winner of Purdue, North Texas. If they
I think Winthrop
by Villanova.
Yeah, I think Winthrop's going to be a really good team to watch. I think, like you said, I think they beat Villanova outright, and I think they could get to the Sweet 16 here. The one that I had my eye on, and now that I know where they are, I actually like them in this spot. I like Oral Roberts. I like Oral Roberts a lot. This is a team that can shoot the three. They shot 39% from three. I think they were top 10. They're second best team in the country in terms of free throw percentage. So if they're going to make that a tight game, I want the team that's shooting 81% at the line. And,
so Villanova with the injuries moved to a 5 seed here. Where does Michigan? How does that bode for Michigan here, who had the Livers injury? He will not be playing in this tournament either. How do you think the tournament? Because this is kind of like when Cincinnati lost. They had that team that was number 1 all season long, and Kenyon Martin broke his ankle. Similar where they kind of dropped them down. They gave Cincinnati a 2 that year when Kenyon Martin broke his ankle. And they were stacked. That team was just, they would have won it all. No doubt. Arkansas Colgate, I think to me is the runaway. That's the 100-point win is that one.
Yeah. Well, for me, outside the obvious, I think Baylor Hartford is a 90-something to 50-something win for Baylor. But, like I said, my total that I'm going to be watching in the first round is going to be Purdue North Texas. I don't think he can put this one low enough. I think that's, like I said, I think it's the first to 60 wins that game. But don't be surprised if North Carolina makes a run here too as well. I think they got a point to prove after how bad they looked last season, and now that Roy Williams has a team that's back in the big dance, I think they could give Baylor a run.
I don't know. I think Wisconsin, I like Wisconsin that one. I think that is the game of the first round in this bracket as far as looking at matchups. I think the Texas Tech-Utah State game is going to be a good game. We're going to find out right out of the gate how good Texas Tech is going to be in this tournament with that Utah State. But they're back, and it looks like we're ready to do another bracket. Zags a lock for the Final Four. Yeah, with that bracket, I don't think so. I would bet if there's a bet. So Illinois is the number 1 in the next region. So it's going to come down to, is it going to be Alabama or Michigan for that last number 1? I'm going to say they gave it to Alabama. I'm just going to act as if we don't see. So Illinois is the 1. They're cutting down the nets right now in Indianapolis, and that's where the final is going to be of the big dance. So they don't have to go far. And they take on Drexel right out of the gate. I think it's just a bad draw for Drexel there. I think they deserve better. I think Drexel deserved better than that, to be honest with you. But that 12-7 record, the Dragons, they don't look super excited about it, but they're kind of all right. Loyola Chicago, the 8. So we have a potential second round matchup, Illinois against Loyola Chicago. That the Ramblers against the Illini, that would be a game. And they take on Georgia Tech, who just won the ACC tournament. Georgia Tech, the winner of the ACC tournament, what that gets you by the NCAA selection committee, it gets you a 9 seed. That's what that's worth. It's not like they were 13-12, right? So Tennessee 18-8 is the 5 in this one, and Oregon State is the 12. So that is the 5-12. There's another one, where you have to take the 12, right? And then there it is. The Oklahoma State Cowboys are in as a 4 seed. The world's a better place. That Oklahoma State is in. And they take on They're on pins and needles like we are. Liberty. So that is going to be a game, is what we got there. That one is a game. Oklahoma State does not look happy about that. I wouldn't be either. San Diego State is the 6th seed in this bracket. And they're up against this is exciting, right?
I miss this, man.
Syracuse is the 11. So the Cuse is in. I'll say it right now. I like Syracuse outright. I don't care what the points are. This has to be a big FU to Gonzaga. They got the number 1 overall seed. So it's not a big FU. I just think the bracket is ridiculous. I think that some of the seedings inside the bracket are ridiculous. I don't see how Iowa ends up as really what they would be called would be the 8th best team. I would be 8. I guess that makes sense, though. West Virginia is the 3 seed in this bracket. West Virginia, of course, lost to Cade Cunningham and the Cowboys. Where are they at? Looks like they're in the football stadium. West Virginia. And then Clemson is Morehead State. I missed it. West Virginia plays Morehead. And then Clemson is in. And I'm going to be fading them no matter who they're playing. It's Rutgers. I like Rutgers in that one. Rutgers got to be. It's, to see them get into the tournament. 15-11, they're 10 seed. Georgia Tech, of course, won the ACC title. They're a 9 seed. The number 2 seed is going to be Houston in this bracket. I don't really see how Houston isn't the number 2 in Gonzaga's bracket. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. 24-3, though, for the Cougs. Up against Cleveland State, who had a heck of a year, but they are in a horrible spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not big on favorites, but I might be laying the points with Houston, whatever they are. So, to recap the bracket, it's Illinois Drexel, Loyola Georgia Tech, with the winners of those 2 playing. Then Oregon State Tennessee, Oklahoma State Liberty. So we have potential Oklahoma State Tennessee, Oklahoma State, Oregon State Liberty against one of those. Then Syracuse San Diego State is a first-round game. West Virginia, Morehead State. So Syracuse doesn't just get in. They're not even like a play-in team, nothing. They're in, right? They're an 11, and it's just crazy. We've only seen one play-in game here, right, so far?
2.
2? Okay.
Yeah, you had Drake, Wichita, and the 16 seed that plays Gonzaga.
Oh, yeah, Drake, Wichita. Then we have West Virginia, Morehead. West Virginia is just too tough for that one. I don't know. That one will be an interesting point spread game. That's one where you might be looking at the points. Clemson against Rutgers. Clemson, I don't like them away from home at all. Rutgers just played in Indianapolis. They played well there. So we kind of like that. And then Houston, Cleveland State. What are you thinking here, Chris? I'm just going to keep going down the comments. It's like I don't get to do this a lot anymore, so kind of good to see everybody.
Yeah. I think this is another region where you're going to see a 12-13 matchup. I like Oregon State against Tennessee, and I like Liberty against Oklahoma State. I just think this Liberty team, they can shoot the lights out. They play fantastic defense. As much as I want to see Cade Cunningham make a deep run in this tournament, and after Oklahoma State upset some teams in the Big 12, Liberty's allowing 58 points a game. I know it's against the DA Sun, but we've seen this Liberty team do damage in the tournament before, and I think this could be a team that busts up quite a few brackets that has Oklahoma State making a run. And I'm going to give honorable mention to Morehead State. I'm not sure they win that game outright, but I think they do give West Virginia a run. I know West Virginia is really tough, but Morehead State was just a cover machine. They also, took care to dispatch Belmont easily twice near the end of the season. And Belmont, I know, not a West Virginia caliber team, but this is still a really good Belmont team that can score points, and they do it on both ends of the floor. So I think Morehead State could be worth a look there. And, of course, two teams I thought could make a deep run, Loyola, Chicago, and Georgia Tech are, of course, playing each other in the first round. So
there's a comment here. Ohio State has a cakewalk to the Elite Eight. I think they have an easier path than Gonzaga, but they might be part of the cakewalk for somebody else. It's like, because you have that Texas Tech, Utah State, Arkansas, Colgate, Florida, Virginia Tech, Ohio State, Oral Roberts. All those other teams might be thinking the same thing, but I would way rather be in that 8. If I'm a team, I'd way rather be in that Texas Tech, Utah State, Arkansas, Colgate, Florida, Virginia Tech, Ohio State, Oral Roberts. I'd way rather be there than USC, Wichita State or Drake, Kansas, Eastern Washington, Oregon, Virginia Commonwealth, Iowa, and Grand Canyon. I'd way rather be there. Or I'd way rather be in this one. Baylor. So Baylor gets Hartford, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Purdue, North Texas, Villanova, Winthrop, Texas Tech, Utah State, or Villanova, Winthrop. That's a tough bracket as well. So we've got 3 tough brackets, and Michigan does get a number 1 seed. This is what I would call the bullcrap. I would say they're the first number 1 to go down. Will be Michigan. They do not deserve a number 1 seed. They've lost, 3 of their last 4 games? Was it? Or did they lose 3 of their last 5? They play the winner of Mount St. Mary's and Texas Southern. Let's see how easy a draw they're going to get, right? That's ridiculous. They play a play-in winner. Chris knows my feelings about Michigan. Been around the block with me a few times. I just can't believe it.
Do we go alphabetically with the profanity, reverse alphabetically?
Well, here's what they get, though. The 8 in the 8-9 game is LSU.
Yeah.
So that's what you get. So the 9 is going to be a beast, too. The 9 is LSU, I think, could take Michigan. St. Bonaventure, and we know what they like to do. They're the opposite of the soft team. We're going to hit them in the mouth to literally. They got in fights in in 2 of their tournament games. Were brawl like delays in the game. Colorado in this bracket, also another team that would give Michigan a lot of problems, matchup problems in that game. And then Georgetown is the 12 in that 12-5. You win the Big East tournament against a team that got knocked out in the second round of the Big Ten tournament. I would like them as well. Probably get some points in that game. Alabama is going to be the 2 in this bracket, right? So we know Alabama is going to be the 2 with Michigan. And Florida State is the 4. Losers to Georgia Tech in the ACC championship game. So Georgia Tech, who won the ACC championship game, had 2 more losses than Florida State total on the season, is a 9 seed. Florida State at 16-6 is a 4 seed. I don't know. UNC Greensboro gets in as the 13 seed. They're a good team. We've watched them all season long. And we go to the bottom half of the bracket. 6 is BYU is a 6 seed. So Georgia Tech, who won the ACC tournament, knocked off Florida State. I guess because that Virginia game got canceled. Is that what they're holding against them? I'm missing this. I'm missing something. Oregon is a what? A 9 or 10 or something?
7.
7, and BYU's a 6. So BYU plays Michigan State UCLA winner. So what? So the playing game is Michigan State UCLA. The winner, it's for the 11. Syracuse got in as the 11, flat in. Michigan State UCLA, because UCLA finished the season so poorly, so that's why they dropped there. I'm not listening to the sound, but I'm just telling you what happened. I know. I know these things. Watch this long enough.
Unpopular opinion. I don't know. I don't even know if Michigan State should have got in. That's just me, though. I don't know.
The 3 seed here is Texas. The 3 seed's Texas here, and they draw Abilene Christian. So,
that's tough.
Yeah. So, this is not a. This is kind of I don't understand how BYU is in there. BYU is going to lose to either UCLA or Michigan State. They're going to lose to both of them. UConn is the 7. This is my pick to win the whole thing. Is UConn? They're a 7 in this. They wouldn't have to play Texas until, I could see. So Texas has a clear path to the Sweet 16 here, and so UConn, Maryland, Alabama, which we knew was the number 2 here. And the last team, the 15 seed, it's got to be one of those small schools that won their thing, right?
Yeah.
Iona. Hookers and blow. It's going to be a hell of a party, regardless of who wins. So there we have it. I don't know who didn't get in. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I don't know who those bubble teams were. So, Colorado State didn't get in. Boise didn't get in, right? So those 2 teams didn't get in. Nevada didn't get in. So Utah State, only 2 Mountain West teams got in. San Diego State, Utah State. That was it. West Coast Conference, BYU gets in. St. Louis, so here are the replacement teams. Okay, this is if somebody goes out, these are the replacement teams if a team can't make it to the court. Louisville is 1. Colorado State is 2, St. Louis is 3, and Ole Miss is 4. I don't even agree with that order either. I think Colorado State should be 1, or Ole Miss should be 1. Ole Miss has the win over Tennessee. They have much bigger wins. Louisville has the loss at Miami. They have, I don't even agree with that because I have a feeling one of those are going to get in, maybe 2.
You think Louisville just got one of those spots just because of name brand?
I don't know. So the last four in were Michigan State, UCLA, Wichita State, and Drake. And then the first 4 out were Louisville, Colorado State, St. Louis, and Ole Miss. I don't know. I don't. How's BYU in this thing, and one of these 4 teams aren't?
Yeah, I would have thought Colorado State would have gone in for sure.
Is it the win at San Diego State? Is that what put them in? Is it that they
that
played?
Might have been.
Is that? Did the tournament committee bet these games and they covered against Gonzaga? Is that what we're getting at here? They got to cover. They only lost by 10 twice to Gonzaga. I mean, I don't know. What, they lost by 50 one time and they lost by 10. Yeah. I mean, what are we looking at here? How is BYU in there? What does anyone care that BYU is in? This is who are they playing? So they played the winner of Michigan State UCLA. They're patsy. They played USC on a neutral court. They got slaughtered. But they did beat San Diego State at San Diego State. Maybe that's the game that put them in. I don't know. They beat Utah. Who else did they beat?
Who's that?
Who else did they beat? BYU.
Who?
Who did they beat? Why are they here?
They beat USC. You said, right?
No, they got killed by USC.
Oh, they got killed by USC. They beat someone else in that early tournament.
They beat San Diego State. That's who they beat. I don't see anything else here for BYU.
I'm checking out the schedule right now.
Yeah, we can go back and take a look. But I didn't see anything there. I could be wrong. It's happened before. So how about you guys out there? Who do you guys think are the big upset teams? If you're not watching us live, put it in the comments. After this, be sure to hit the like button and put it in the comments. Who do you see coming out of each bracket? Who's your big upset teams in the first round? Outright upsets. We don't know the point spreads yet, but who are your outright upsets? And then they'll be announcing the NIT in just a little bit as well. They're not going to do that. We're not going to do a NIT selection show.
Okay. So they've got the road win at San Diego State.
Right.
Road win at Utah State. 4-point loss to Boise State at home.
But Boise State wasn't even a replacement team.
Yeah. Just beat the tar off of Utah at home, but that's nothing. Lost to USC, St. John's. They beat on a neutral floor. St. John's, another team that probably NIT bound.
Michigan's not the worst number 1 seed ever. The worst 1 seed ever was Gonzaga like a few years ago. The Adam, whatever his name was, team.
Adam Morrison.
Yeah, or whatever. I mean, there's been a bunch of Gonzaga teams that have been number 1 seeds, like in that 4 spot. This is the first time I think Gonzaga's been the number 1 overall. I mean, do you want to play like Tom Izzo in the second round, first round, in a playing game? Mick Cronin against Tom Izzo? I mean, there's a coaching mismatch for you. I don't know. So we'll go back through the brackets. So the Gonzaga bracket, obviously the toughest of them all, at least in ours. And we'll see some analysis from some other people, and they'll say, "Oh, the toughest bracket is Michigan's, right?" But I would say when you look at the top few teams, so the reason why the Michigan bracket is tough is because you have the eventual champion coming out of there, which is Uconn, and that's part of the problem here for them. And then, it's just part of the problem. Then you have Texas is in that bracket, Florida State's in that bracket, and Colorado, and in Michigan's half of the bracket, you have LSU and Colorado and Florida State and Georgetown, who's hot. Not really sure what to say about that. So, Chris, who got screwed? Georgia Tech?
I think so. I think Georgia Tech. I'd even argue that Loyola Chicago probably deserved better too than an 8. I'm just trying to go through and see.
How about Drexel? They get fair shake here as a 2, as a 15.
I think they were always good. That's always the shake that they were going to get. Whether or not we agree with it is another story. I think St. Bonaventure got a bad shake as a number 9 seed. This is a team that won the regular season title in the A10. They were really good defensively. They had some pretty good wins. They won the A10
tournament and the regular season.
Won the A10
title.
tournament.
Same as
and
Bama.
The regular season.
Same as Bama. Won the regular season.
I'd argue
is the SEC. So the SEC how many teams did the SEC get in? How many teams did they get in? I don't know. A lot, right? So
yeah, at least 6.
At least 6. So Florida, Alabama, LSU.
Tennessee.
LSU, Tennessee.
Arkansas.
And then Mississippi's Ole Miss is on the outside looking in.
You see Missouri?
Oh, yeah, Missouri. So that's 6 they got in. I don't know. Alabama won that conference. They won the regular season. They won the tournament. I think they deserve that. Michigan doesn't deserve it. How do they deserve it? Maybe 2 weeks ago they deserved it. They finished with a loss in the tournament to Ohio State. They lost 2 of their last 3 games. They lost to Michigan State. They lost to Illinois. And then they lost to Ohio State. They lost 3 of their last 5 games. They beat Maryland, and they beat Michigan State at home. And that was it. And you're going to hold Villanova as a 5 seed? I don't know, man. It just doesn't make sense to me. Of course, it all plays out on the court, and only one team gets to finish the season with a win. So I don't think it's going to be Michigan. Chris, any final thoughts for our audience? Anything you want to say? I know you're going to be on the drive-through Wednesday. We'll have a lot clearer picture. Hopefully there'll be NIT games at least on Wednesday or something. Normally the play-in games are Tuesday and Wednesday, but this week they're not. And then we'll probably have you on more. We'll probably as things progress. We got baseball season starting on the 1st, and you won't have college basketball to cover anymore, so it'll be a handful. It'll be a fraction of what you're doing now. Yeah. So
I'll be back ready and good to go.
Yeah, and refueled, and it's kind of I think I take full responsibility for everything. I take my role. It's like we pushed Chris we spread him about as thin as we could. Thinner than a taco shell. It was
that is the only time you're going to hear my last name and the word thin in the same sentence.
Yeah. We had Chris writing 560 articles a month. 560 a month. So that's over 15 articles a day, doing all the NHL videos. He was on the morning show, he was on the drive-through, and doing NHL videos. So I take full responsibility for even allowing that to happen. But we're going to make it right, and we'll have Chris back in full swing. We appreciate everyone that joined us. This was fun. It was kind of a little pop-up show that we got. We maintained over 300 visitors, online watching the show while we were doing it, and look who we were up against. The guys that
you got impromptu Final Four.
My impromptu Final Four. I will go with Uconn, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Oregon. Same teams I think
Oregon's
I picked before.
Oregon's the only one we agree on. I got Oregon, Baylor, Houston, and Alabama.
All right, those are all reasonable too. I mean, I can't disagree with any of them. I just like my teams, and I just think that there are certain teams that are built for tournament style play. And I think in this oddest of odd years that it's been so chalky in every sport, all of a sudden there's going to be fans in the stands and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to baseball season with fans in the stands and all that kind of good stuff in just a couple of weeks. And we'll probably have Chris and I will probably do some more shows. We'll still have to figure out what this week looks like. Like I said, his schedule should be freeing up a little bit, so we should be able to have him and do maybe some more like bracket analysis, like more in depth, and fill out some not fill out brackets, but maybe we'll get Bittler on here or something, and just bust his balls for a half hour or so. Anyways, thanks everyone for joining us. As always, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Or 10:30 a.m. Tomorrow. We're going to change the format of the morning show a little bit, so we're going to hope that you guys like it. It's going to be a little different. It's kind of back to we've had a few different formats over the years, and we're going to kind of reel it back in. We're going to try and make it a half-hour show and just make it. We're going to give out a lot of picks. Maybe it might be less picks, but we have less to cover. So we're going to just kind of I think you guys will like it. I think each guy will kind of just give out his picks that they like in each sport, and then we'll kind of just wrap it up at the end like we do. So it'll be a little different. But anyways, it always works out in the end. We always change it, and people are upset when we change it at first, and then they're upset when we change it the next time. It's the same people. But anyways, thanks everyone for joining us. Have a great night. I'll see you guys at 10 a.m. And don't let these brackets get the best yet. I haven't won a bracket contest in a while now since the Kemba Walker year and the year after. Those 2 years were the years that I won. Because I get too carried. The reason why I'm lousy at the brackets now is I get too carried away with the point spread. So I'm too doggy. Like, I love betting the dogs in March Madness, but it's like I get too doggy with my bracket. I get carried away, and I listen to the guys on TV. Oh, Wofford's going to beat Kentucky. They're not going to beat Kentucky. It's like they might cover, but they're not going to beat them. Anyways, thanks, everyone. Have a great night. We'll see you in the morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, Chris. See you soon.